During the golden age of piracy, international trade was booming as ships crisscrossed the Atlantic Ocean, loaded with precious commodities like spices, textiles, jewels, gold. And just outside these shipping lanes, the waters were infested with pirates waiting to attack. Some pirates were ruthless, greedy, but none were as successful as the Prince of Pirates, Black Sam Bellamy. Bellamy, an English privateer, came to Cape Cod in 1715. There, in Wellfleet, he met a girl named Maria Hallett, and they soon fell in love. But Maria's parents were weary of Bellamy's ability to earn a decent living. So when Bellamy heard of sunken Spanish treasure in Florida, he set sail with hopes of returning as a respected and rich captain, and promised Maria to bring back the greatest ship she had ever seen. The months went by, and Bellamy failed to find any treasure. He was out of options, and as a last resort, to keep his promise to Maria, he turned to piracy. Bellamy joined the pirate ranks of Benjamin Hornigold, a treacherous and deceitful sea captain who treated his crews unfairly. But in 1716, the crew revolted against Hornigold, voting Bellamy as captain, and with that came the greatest year of piracy the world had ever seen. Within a year, Bellamy raided nearly 50 ships. He was a solid strategist and a fair and sympathetic helmsman, as he would spare the lives aboard the vessels that he raided. He likened himself to Robin Hood, but earned the nickname Black Sam Bellamy instead. With his crew by his side, and the pirates growing more confident, they set their sights on the newly commissioned Whydah, a 300-ton, 102-foot English slave ship, the most advanced vessel of its time. In February of 1717, after 3 days of tracking the ship, the pirates made their move and seized the vessel. It was the greatest theft in the history of piracy, filled with indigo, ivory, and tons of gold and silver. It was more than Bellamy could have ever imagined. True to his reputation, Bellamy spared the crew of the Whydah, and he actually gave his own vessel to the captain. But the Whydah was now his, and he outfitted his new vessel as a 28-gun battleship. A satisfied Bellamy set sail for Cape Cod to reunite with his beloved Maria and keep his promise to bring back the prized ship. But his luck would soon come to an abrupt end. A major storm snuck up on Bellamy and the Whydah. The ship struggled in the coastal surf and crashed into a sandbar. The mast cracked in half and the ship capsized. Bellamy went down with the Whydah. Bellamy and Maria would never be together again. She was labeled as an outcast, accused of being a witch for laying with a pirate sea captain. Lives, reputations, and riches, all lost at the bottom of the sea. Then, a young Barry Clifford from Cape Cod heard stories from his uncle telling the tale of the Whydah and Black Sam Bellamy. Clifford became a sea explorer and used a map drawn at the time of the shipwreck to look for the Whydah. By 1980, he began his search, but had little success. Then, 3 years later, Clifford found a bell with the markings of the Whydah. This was the first evidence ever found of a sunken pirate ship. Clifford would go on to recover over 100,000 artifacts that would help shed light on the mystery of the Whydah and the life of the Prince of Pirates.
Hi, my name is Folklorist Ian. My story is about George Washington, the first president of the United States. He fought in the Revolutionary War. George Washington also created the government we use today and is known as the Father of America. He died at age 67 and is on the $1 bill. He was a pioneer for freedom and an honest man.
NewTV's original program, The Folklorist, has just won its second Emmy Award. Congratulations to John Horrigan for his win in the program Host Moderator category. And congratulations to the production team and cast for creating a captivating and inspiring program.
Hello, friend. Welcome to The Folklorist.
The Folklorist, only on NewTV.
Did you know that the golden age of piracy ended in 1726 when pirate William Fly was hung in Boston? His body was then chained to Nix's mate in Boston Harbor to warn off any would-be pirates.
My name's Aaron.
My name's Ellie.
And we're going to tell you the story of Harry Houdini. Harry Houdini was born March 24th, 1847 in Budapest, Hungary. He was known best for his sensational escape acts. Harry Houdini used to tour Europe doing handcuff tricks. He also used to use chains and ropes and straitjackets to escape from.
In 1904, thousands watched as he tried to escape from special handcuffs, keeping them in suspense for an hour. He also liked to fly planes and was the first person to fly over Australia. He died in 1926 of a ruptured appendix.
Harry Houdini could escape from anything.
Some stories evolve into legends with details that are forgotten, misplaced, or embellished, taking a life of their own. One of those stories dates back to the 1860s, when a tale of a young couple in love would come to a tragic end. The American Civil War is raging, with hundreds of Confederate soldiers imprisoned within Fort Warren on Boston Harbor. According to legend, one prisoner, a young Lieutenant Andrew Lanier, had recently been married just weeks before his capture. Forced to live out his days in the corridor of dungeons, he was desperate to make contact with his beloved wife back home. Somehow he was able to send her a message, hoping that one day she would come to free him from his grim fate. Then, on a rainy night in January of 1862, his wife Melanie, dressed as a man and armed with a pistol, set out to free him. Upon landing at the fort, she managed to sneak by the sentries and slip into the corridor of dungeons. She whistles an obscure southern tune, which she knows only he would recognize. There, standing in the shadows, was his long-lost love, holding the keys to his cell. "I can't believe it's you! Hurry! Time is of the essence!" The door swings open, and the two race down the hallway, but the commotion catches the attention of the guards, and Colonel Justin Dimmick is sent to investigate. As the couple rounded the corner, they were confronted by the colonel. "Stop where you are!" A startled Melanie raises her gun and fires. She stands there dazed. She sees her husband lying on the ground. Her gun had backfired. The shot she had intended to save her husband's life had taken it instead. Colonel Dimmick had no choice but to try her as a spy and a traitor, and he sentenced her to hang. And before her execution in February of 1862, Melanie had one final request: to be dressed in women's clothing. But all they could find for her to wear was a long black robe. Some people claim that a ghostly figure wearing a black robe haunts those who visit the fort. In the 1930s, when a soldier stationed at the fort was climbing down a ladder, he suddenly heard an ominous voice. Many variations of the story have been told over the years, since folklorist Edward Rose Snow first popularized the tale in the early 20th century. Whether you believe the account to be fact or fiction, no one can deny the lasting legacy of the Lady in Black. There's more to come on The Folklorist.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look! Your crush is looking at you.
Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
We just saw The Lady in Black, but did you know there's a legend of a lady in gray in Indiana? She's said to haunt the Willard Library in Evansville, and she's been seen by people for the last 85 years. Is there some folklore in your town? Well, let us know about it. Send us an email, folklorist@newtv.org. We'd love to hear about it.
Hi, my name's Folklorist Aidan, and I'm going to tell you about the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco. It lasted about 15 seconds and killed more than 3,000 people. It measured about an 8.7 earthquake. That's considered a major earthquake. Demolitions and fires broke out for several days, and over 80% San Francisco was destroyed. This was one of the world's worst natural disasters. Who knows when the next big earthquake is going to hit?
History is filled with all kinds of characters. The gentle and the compassionate, the brave and the courageous. But even the pranksters have their place in folklore. In the small town of Sitka, Alaska, lies Mount Edgecumbe, a 3,200-foot volcano long thought to have been dormant. On the morning of April 1st, 1974, the town's local prankster, Oliver Porky Picard, woke up from his deep slumber. He pulled the curtains aside, taking a look at the beautiful day, seeing the mountain clearly. This was the day he was waiting for, the right conditions for an elaborate plot that he'd been planning for years. Today's the day. Well, just don't make a fool of yourself. Porky quickly threw on his clothes and called a pilot who met him at a nearby airfield. They started gathering tires, oily rags, diesel fuel, and tossed them into 2 large canvas bags. A helicopter then lifted the cargo and headed straight towards the top of the mountain. This is the spot! They released the canvas bags onto the snow-covered volcano. Porky jumped out, shook a can of spray paint, and wrote in large letters, April Fools. While holding a match, he looked at the pilot. He dropped the flame. He raced to the helicopter and flew away. A large black plume of smoke began to rise from the sleeping volcano. Residents spilled out of their homes. An eruption! Panic swept across the town. The police station was flooded with calls. Miss, this isn't an actual eruption. Sir, there's no reason to be alarmed. Someone call the Coast Guard! The Coast Guard arrived at the scene, but it was too late. The news had spread worldwide.
In Sitka, Alaska, officials are investigating what appears to be a volcano eruption.
El volcano accredited to.
Специалисты в Ситко-Аляска исследуют возможность извержения вулкана Meltdown.
All eyes turned to the tiny town of Sitka, Alaska, and the man who was responsible for one of the greatest April Fool's pranks in history.
Get your ass suit. You're not sitting here.
Yes, I am.
Move. Give it to him hard.
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Can you concern with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Living seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Disclaimer. With folklore, sometimes the biggest casualty is fact. But please, keep watching. Did you know there was another April Fool's prank involving a volcano? In 1980, Channel 7 in Boston reported that the Blue Hills in Milton was erupting. Residents panicked. The police were not amused, and the station's executive producer was fired. Wood, coal, oil, the fuels for progress. But as the world was becoming more industrialized, the thirst for energy increased tenfold, and scientists were challenged to develop new ways to generate and distribute electricity to meet the growing demand of the American consumer. During World War II, nuclear technology had been used to create weapons for war, but in the 1950s, the US government pushed to further develop its commercial uses. This push led to the construction of 5 experimental nuclear reactors, but in this rushed attempt to harness this unknown technology, it would pose unimaginable risks. 1959, the Santa Susana Nuclear Laboratory was operating 30 miles away from downtown Los Angeles. On a July morning, technician John Pace is checking his meters and gauges when suddenly the supervisors rush into the control room. The fuel rods are overheating. Temperatures are rising. The core is becoming unstable. They quickly assessed the critical situation. The cooling process was failing. They were now facing a nuclear meltdown. They raced to the automatic shutdown switch. Malfunction! The technicians have two options. Release the radioactive gases into the atmosphere to relieve the pressure within the reactor, or pose the risk of an explosion to the laboratory and send nuclear fallout over the city of Los Angeles. With no time to spare, and without any warning issued to the public, the decision was made. Vent the gases. After nearly 2 weeks of daily releases of toxic radiation into the air, the reactor was finally shut down. And with that, the event at Santa Susana was virtually forgotten. Two decades later, another nuclear meltdown occurs, this one at 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania. But this time, news of the event spread quickly, and the public's reaction brought further scrutiny to the dangers of radiation being released into the environment. Students from UCLA began researching nuclear disasters, and they discovered in the hills of Los Angeles the site of the Santa Susana nuclear meltdown that took place 20 years earlier and released hundreds of times more radiation than 3 Mile Island. Documents, films, and photographs that the AEC issued were brought to light, revealing the shocking truth behind the accident. Students showed their findings to UCLA professor Dr. Daniel Hirsch, who began heading the effort to bring the story public. It took 50 years for the events at Santa Susana to come to the public's attention, due to the research of students at UCLA and the bravery of men like John Pace, who chose to break his vow of secrecy. You know, some secrets are meant to be kept, but when people's lives are in danger, these secrets should be revealed, like one of America's worst nuclear meltdowns.
I look up to a lot of the older heads, you know, the innovators, the heads of the art movements of the past. They kept it really edgy, and like a lot of the Latin American muralists and Latin American artists, and their styles were very unique and new to their time. You know, somewhat controversial, but that's who I look up to mainly. Personally, I'm very excited about going to college. It's something new and it's something different than what I'm used to. I'm definitely going to be a little out of my element, but that's what makes it so exciting, is that, you know, it's something fresh. Well, there's so many opportunities that I think I could miss out on if I didn't go, you know? Getting into college takes planning and vision. You know, it's just like when I take a brick wall and turn it into a canvas for my art. Paintings help me realize that I've got what it takes.
Did you know that America averted a nuclear disaster in 1961 when a B-52 bomber broke up in midair over North Carolina and accidentally released 2 hydrogen bombs? Thankfully, the fuses failed and the bombs did not detonate.
Hi, my name is Cameron.
Hi, I'm Andre.
And we're from Bowen Elementary. And we're going to tell you about
Dracula.
This is Dracula, the original terrifying story of a maniac and a man who lived after death.
In a dark castle, I, Count Dracula, live in the top of a hill. I sleep in my coffin and drink blood as my truth. By nightfall, I am ready to hunt. I am going to suck blood and turn people under my control.
The only way I'm going to stop him is to put a stake through his heart.
Now I'm ready for anything.
History has a way of hiding the truth, but now you know the real story. We are the Folklorists, and this is the new history. Till next time.
NewTV's original program, The Folklorist, has just won its second Emmy Award. Congratulations to John Horrigan for his win in the program Host Moderator category. And congratulations to the production team and cast for creating a captivating and inspiring program.
Hello, friend. Welcome to The Folklorist.
The Folklorist, only on NewTV.
Yes, I am.
Move! Give it to him hard!
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why are you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
At Earth Justice, we defend the environment in the courtroom. Join our fight. When you take a seat, you take a stand. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.